Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you are looking at a brand new review of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks with me and my co-host, Rebellious D. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, brother. Good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too, as always, man. So on tonight's review, as you see, I have the blue lights on right now because we are reviewing Black Lightning Season 4, the final season that just aired yesterday on the CW. I've been watching this thing since Season 1, and I'm kind of sad that it's coming to an end. But like they always say, all great things must come to an end. And I'm just hoping that this season is just as good as some of the previous seasons. Season 3 was okay, but I'm really hoping that this season does the series justice, since it is the final season. So before we get into that review today, make sure that you like this video and you subscribe to our channel so that way that you can always see when we come out with new content, and make sure that you hit that bell so you're always notified whenever we drop new content with the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks crew. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. So the episode starts off 1 year after season 3, and Jefferson, he is at his friend Henderson's gravesite, and his father's ghost appears, and he's talking with his father, and pretty much because Henderson passed away after he was not passed away, but he was murdered. Jefferson is like, Black Lightning is dead. He doesn't want to be Black Lightning anymore. So he leaves the gravesite and he sees some cops harassing a black teen. So Jefferson gets out of his car and he's just like, hey, I know this kid. Y'all need to just chill out. They're like, no, you need to get back in the car. And he's just like, no, that kid didn't do anything wrong. He's a teenager. And the cops are just like, if you don't get back in the car, it's going to be some trouble. They pull their guns on him. The kid ends up running away. And Jefferson is just like, you know what? I'm tired of this. So he uses his powers to electrocute the two cops, and he does wipe their memory so that way that they don't know anything that happened. But during all of this, he also destroyed their car so that way that it didn't catch his car or catch him on camera. And we later find out from Gamby that there were other cameras there that caught Jefferson, and Gamby was able to clean it up. But we find out later on in the episode that there was one camera that did capture his car and his license plate, the end of his license plate. And we're going to get into that later on in the episode. One of the things that I love about Black Lightning is how they always talk about, and they're not afraid to talk about, issues that go on in the black community, going all the way back to the first season. And I really feel like with this season that it's going to touch on a lot of the Black Lives Matter stuff that happened over the summer, the murder of George Floyd, the murder of Breonna Taylor, the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. I can see that we're going to get that this season in Freeland. And D, I just want to ask you your opinion, because this is your first time back to the rodeo for Black Lightning, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so how did you feel with the opening that we were presented with this season?
I really liked it. The episode, the whole way over, I liked it. But the opening, I thought it was strong. It'll be, I think, a classic story of a hero finding his way back to his path. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It was a very strong opening. There was so much going on, and like I said, it's a year after the events of season 3, where Jefferson, he ended up fighting his great cousin. I can't remember his name, but he was played by Wayne Brady. Season 3, in my opinion, like, I feel like it started off strong, but as it continued to go on, like, I was kind of getting weary with it. And that's why I'm just hoping that season 4 is a lot better than season 3 was. Season 1 was the best in my opinion. Season 2 was even better. And like I said, it's a CW show, and sometimes this is what happens on these type of shows, where it's like, it starts off strong, but as it progresses, it kind of hits like it's a road mark, or a roadblock, as they say. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So the first episode was called The Book of Reconstruction, Chapter 1, Collateral Damage. And as we see in this episode, there is a ton of collateral damage going on, because Anissa is at the hospital with Grace, who is still in a coma after the events of last season. And Jennifer is just like, hey, you can't just sit here and stay by Grace's side the entire time. And then this is just like, you should have seen how you were with Khalil when you were by his side when he was in the hospital and whatnot. And one of the things that we see this season on this episode is the dynamic of Jennifer and Anissa, Lightning and Thunder. Now Thunder and Lightning, they're cleaning up the streets. They're doing what needs to be done to keep Freeland safe, because now you have the 100 who is, still doing their thing. And then you have another group, and there's a turf war going on. And because Black Lightning isn't around, somebody has to do something to keep it safe. We also see that the mayor has appointed a new chief of police, and that is Miss Lopez, who takes over Henderson's spot. And then she has a detective with her, Detective Shakur. Now, we find out that Detective Shakur, he has Henderson's phone, and Henderson pretty much, it was kind of like what's the word, D? Where it's just like, not a mentor, but what is the word where it's just like, something is left in place so that way that the next person can have they already,
like a guideline, or
yes, there we go, like a guideline. Like Shakur already had like the guideline from Henderson, like this is who you need to contact. Black Lightning is the hero of Freeland, and this is, if you need help, you need to go to. But when he calls him from Henderson's phone, like Black Lightning is kind of iffy on the thing, because he's just like, who the hell has Henderson's phone? You know what I'm saying? It's like anybody, if one of your best friends dies and somebody calls you from their phone, you would be pissed. But it was all in, forming a new partnership with the new detective in town. D, how did you feel, seeing the events after, everything with Jefferson that happened in the morning, and seeing, the two sisters, they're doing their thing now to keep the streets clean and whatnot? How did you feel about that?
First, I want to start with Thunder and Lightning. I think it's a very cool version of a dynamic duo.
Yes.
Both their powers are they're pretty sweet characters. That's one thing that Black Lightning really has going for it overall, is the usage of like metahumans and their abilities is so cool.
Yes.
Thunder is probably my favorite character on the show because of her abilities, pretty sweet, and then her attitude. She just goes out and gets it done. She don't want to hear that.
Yep.
But also, it's going to be interesting seeing how Jefferson pulls it all together. And with that being asked, I want to ask you a question, Banks. Do you feel like there's more to this Shakur and the new, I guess, chief of police? Is that her title?
Chief Lopez. Yes.
Yeah. Do you think Lopez is up to something, or do you think she's in somebody's pocket?
I don't think that she is. I think that she's just by the book chief, and she doesn't want to have that same type of relationship that Henderson had with Black Lightning. You know what I'm saying? I could kind of see her as no play by the book. I don't trust vigilantes. I don't want them in my city, because it's like they cause just as much destruction and problems as the villains. So, I can see her being like that. And we see later in the episode that it's like she has a feeling that Black Lightning, that Jefferson Pierce is Black Lightning, because her and Detective Shakur, they show up at the school. And when they question him about, where he was at that morning and his car, because they said it was 6 other people in town that have that same color car, and their license plate number ended with that number, and they had already checked out with all of them. So, they think that Black Lightning is Jefferson Pierce, and Jefferson Pierce is Black Lightning. So I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some switcheroo where somebody else is going to be Black Lightning, which I think we've seen before, and I'm probably just having a brain fart right now, where Gamby has used his technology to make a copy of Black Lightning, so that way that the trail will go cold. It's just like me and you. It's like we're Black Lightning and Thunder, and Trav is our Gambi. Even though Trav's not here with us, he's our third co-host. Trav is our Gambi, and he's our tech guy. So I just wanted to give Trav a shout out on this episode.
Easy. He isn't Gambi because he's white, is he?
No.
Okay, he's easy.
It's because you could be Gambi too. You know what I'm saying? But it's like Trav is our tech guy. You know, even
that's true.
Before we even started recording this episode, Trav was trying to put us onto some new tech. And I'll say this about Trav. Trav always stays 10 steps ahead when it comes to new tech and new software that comes out. So if you ever need any advice on anything, slide into the DMs on one of our social media accounts, Trav's social media account at ZK Audio, and he can guide you into what tech you need for whatever project you're trying to do.
That's right.
But anyway, back to Black Lightning. I wanted to ask you because we see Tobias well. He's back now, and he was believed to be dead at the end of season 3. But of course, as we know, villains never die. They always find some way to, come back from the grave. And I'm really wanting to see what they're going to do with Tobias this season, because on last season, he was pretty much locked down the entire time. So all he could really do was just play mind games with people. And now he is this person that is trying to help Freeland and trying to build it back up. And he has his hands in everything around Freeland. Like, he's changed his ways. And, Tobias is pretty much the Black Lex Luthor. That's who
I was going to say I was waiting. I think he's the Black Kingpin is more of it. Because
he's a combination of both.
Because the Kingpin basically did the same thing that he's doing, right? Yes. He went out and, I want to help the city of New York. And I mean, dude, I was thinking it the whole time I've been watching the show. So yeah,
and Tobias is such a good villain, man. Like,
yes, he is.
From the first season until right now, man. And how we already know he's playing everybody. We already know that, like I said, this is the final season. And one of the things that we get with the Pierce family is when they see that Tobias is still alive, they're like, yo, we got to kill him. Like, we can't let him live. And that's the dynamic that I love about this family, is because when it comes to the family, they all want to do their own thing. But when it comes to the family, they will always work together. And I can understand why everybody's just like, yo, we need to kill Tobias. And that's something that Jennifer brings up, where she's like, I've killed somebody, Anissa's killed somebody, Lynn's killed somebody, and Jefferson is the only person that hasn't killed anybody, because it goes against his code. And that's the one thing that I love about him, because when you're a hero, you have to have that code, because if you kill, you're no different than a bad guy. So
that's right.
I understand why Jefferson wants to, keep that code and not kill, but if it's necessary and he has to do it, then I can see him doing that. I'm glad that I just mentioned Lynn, because, Lynn, she had her whole thing in last season where she was starting to inject herself with the metahuman DNA and stuff like that. So she has powers now where she can, give people commands and they listen to her.
Oh yeah. Also, Wayne Brady's character was Gravedigger.
Thank you, Gravedigger.
Yeah, you just jogged my memory. Yep.
Thank you. But yeah, and it's like, and Gravedigger is one of the abilities that she's using. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Gravedigger, at the end of season 3, he's able to change his appearance. So I'm sure we're going to see him this season. I can't wait to see what other characters we're going to see this season. I'm praying to God, please, CW, with this being the last season, let us please have Static Shock appear on this. Like, let us just have a cameo or something, man, because it's like we all love Static Shock, and you can't have a show like Black Lightning and all this electricity and stuff going on, lightning, thunder, and not have Static Shock. So D, how would you feel if you were to see Static Shock appear on this season?
I mean, it would be sweet. I love seeing him and Richie, but I guess I can just take Static in this case. Yeah. Come on, Banks. It would be amazing to see Static Shock. It would be amazing. Now, do you want to see old man Static, or do you want young Virgil?
See, now I want young Virgil, so then that way, because like we get on all of these CW shows, the crossovers and whatnot, and I would love to see him on something else. And this is a question that I have for you, because I'm pretty sure we're going to see it later on. Do you see any other characters from any of the other Arrowverse shows crossing over into Black Lightning this season? Besides the mega crossover that we get every year, do you see anybody appearing on Black Lightning? I go ahead and say what you want to say first, and I'll say who I could possibly see appearing up there.
I mean, I can't pinpoint one particular character, but I could see it happening easily because of how, especially from Arrow, those characters traveled around anyway.
Yeah.
Now from Flash, not so much, but maybe they could use characters from the Arrow show. Yeah, I could see that.
Yes, especially since Arrow's over. There's two people who I could possibly see appearing on Black Lightning, and that's the Flash, because of the relationship that him and Jefferson had on Crisis on Infinite Earths. So I could see Barry possibly being in Freeland, and then I could also see Batwoman appearing in there. And I think it's like, even though I'm not a fan of Batwoman, I love Javicia, and I could see her, Thunder, and Lightning working together, and I think that would be so badass if that happened. So those are the crossover predictions that I see happening. I know that Gamby, he had a little something going on this episode too, where one of his old flames, she struck a deal. She offered him a deal, and it's something that Gamby's thinking about taking. So I would love to see what they're going to do more with Gamby. Then also we see that Jennifer, Thunder and Lightning, because they're breaking up everything that's going on with the 100 and the other gang, they go to one of the locations because Lala's pissed because his shipment pretty much got taken down from because of Thunder and Lightning. And so he's just like, okay, Lightning needs to get killed, and he gives his goons these special type of weapons so that way that they can take Lightning out. And Lightning, she ends up getting hit with this weapon, and she ends up going unconscious and not being able to use her powers. She ends up getting her powers back by the end of the episode, as we see, and as she's flying in the sky, her powers, they just go away, and she just starts falling.
Kind of short circuits.
Yes, and like that's how the episode ends. There was no episode preview for what's going to happen next week, so I'm sure we'll get that soon. If not, I mean, I think that's even better because it just only makes people want to tune in and see what's going to happen next week. All in all, I thought it was a good episode, good opening to the season 4 of Black Lightning. One other thing I forgot to mention too is we see that Jefferson, after he finds out what happens to Jennifer, he goes to the guy that shot her and he cripples the guy. Like he beats him up.
He messed that kid up, man.
It was so crazy, man, just seeing him like this. And that's one thing that Gamby was telling Jefferson, is that you can't be Jefferson Pierce going around doing this stuff. You have to be Black Lightning because you still have to protect your family. You still have to, go to work and everything. You still have to live a normal life. You can't just be out in these streets doing what you want to do. And I just feel like that's going to be something that we're going to see this season is, Jefferson finally becoming Black Lightning again and becoming the hero that Freeland needs. And I mean, like, all in all, D, what do you give this episode?
I'm gonna give it a strong 8 out of 10. Couple things that I want to see play out, like you said, Gamby's old flame. I think that may be them giving Gamby's character an exit at the end of the season, with this being the wrap up, and maybe a project that it takes him away from Freeland at the end. And I want to see how Tobias, he's funding the mother's projects now. Or he's a chair member now.
Yes.
So I can't wait to see. It's a fun. I like what they're doing. I can't lie. So I'm solid 8 out of 10, Banks. You?
Yeah. Hey, I agree with you. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 as well. Like I said, definitely a good start for this season. Definitely, in my opinion, a better episode than Batwoman season 2. It has me hooked. It has me wanting to know what's going to happen next.
Exactly.
I just want to see, because I mean, again, this is the final season, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to see. We're going to be doing reviews every week for Black Lightning, so make sure that you tune in and keep up to date with us. And like I said in the beginning, make sure that you like this video. Make sure that You get in the comments, talk with us, tell us what you liked about the episode, tell us what you didn't like about the episode, tell us, are you going to stick around and watch the whole season, or have you given up on Black Lightning? Have you given up on the Arrowverse as a whole? Let us know in the comments. Make sure that you subscribe to us. Make sure that you hit that bell button so that way that you're always notified when we come out with new content. And D, tell them where they can find you at in social media land.
That's going to be rebellious_D23 at Instagram.com. Also, make sure podcast in the description.
That's right. We release brand new episodes every Tuesday of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, the podcast that you can find on any music streaming service. And for some of the episodes, you'll be able to watch a video review of the episode or interview on YouTube every Friday. You can follow me, your hero Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks. That's on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook by typing in Benjamin Banks, and I should be the first person to pop up. If not, I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. And make sure that you follow all of the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks. And if you're feeling generous and would love to donate to us, we have a Patreon, and it's at Leveling Up Banks. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week. Make sure that you tune in this Friday when we drop our WandaVision episode. And also make sure you tune in for when I drop the review for Promised Neverland. We'll see you next time. And remember to always keep those pinkies up. Peace.
Be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and get notified every time we upload a new one by subscribing and ticking the bell icon. You can also listen to the full episode by searching for Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks on your favorite podcast app. If you'd like to help support more great content like this, be sure to check us out on Patreon. We'll have the link posted in the description below. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.